What if I told you that money does not respond to effort the way you think it does? That working harder, stressing more, or chasing it endlessly might actually push it away. Most people believe that money comes from action alone, but Jacobo Grinberg discovered something far deeper, something hidden in the way consciousness shapes reality itself. Money responds first to awareness. It responds to the quality of your attention, the alignment of your mind, and the coherence of your inner state. Most people try harder, thinking effort will unlock abundance. Very few realize that the real power lies in changing the inner signal they send to the universe. This is where true manifestation begins, and it is far more subtle and far more powerful than you have been told. Grinberg's research revealed that reality is not a fixed stage where events play out randomly. It is a dynamic field, a unified informational network where consciousness and perception interact constantly. Money, opportunities, and success are all part of this field. They are not separate from you. They respond directly to the clarity and organization of your awareness. When your mind is scattered, fragmented by stress, fear, or obsession, the field cannot respond coherently. But when your attention is unified, calm, and focused, the field reorganizes itself to bring abundance directly into your experience. In this video, you will learn how to identify the subtle blocks that keep money away without you even noticing. You will see why most people fail to manifest wealth despite doing everything right, and how the simplest shift in awareness can produce results faster than you ever imagined. You will discover techniques rooted in Grinberg's insights that allow you to harmonize your inner state, align your brain frequency, and create a magnetic environment for abundance. You will also uncover lesser-known aspects of Grinberg's work. The ways he observed that attention is not just passive observation, but an active force that organizes reality itself. When you understand this, you will realize that money is not something you chase. It is something that responds to the signal you radiate through your awareness. The timing, the opportunities, and the flow of resources all follow the coherence you create internally. If you watch this video until the end, you will gain a clear understanding of how to manifest money in a way that is effortless, precise, and surprisingly immediate. This is not about luck or wishful thinking. It is about mastering the hidden mechanisms of consciousness that most people overlook. Welcome to Awakened Synchronicity. If you are ready to transform the way you interact with reality and invite abundance into your life, subscribe to the channel and join our journey into awareness, insight, and true manifestation. The brain frequency is often misunderstood. Some people think it is a mystical force, a kind of magic that only a few can tap into. But Jacobo Grinberg's work shows that it is much simpler and much more practical. Brain frequency refers to the quality of your attention. It is about how focused, coherent, and unified your awareness is in any given moment. It is not about trying harder or using special techniques to force results. It is about how your mind organizes itself and how that organization interacts with the field of reality. When attention is scattered, the brain produces noise. Thoughts jump from worry to desire, from fear to hope, and the inner signal becomes chaotic. That chaos translates outward, creating an unstable environment in which resources, including money, struggle to appear. You may think you are working diligently, thinking positively, or setting goals, but if your attention is fragmented, the field cannot align with your intentions. Scattered attention sends mixed signals. It whispers uncertainty, fear, and imbalance, and the universe responds by reflecting that. Unified attention, on the other hand, creates order. When your mind is calm, focused, and entirely present, it organizes the field in a coherent way. Every thought, every perception, and every intention resonates with clarity. That clarity is what attracts resources effortlessly. The difference between trying harder and achieving effortlessly lies in this invisible alignment. It is not a trick, a spell, or a secret formula. It is the natural response of a field that responds to coherence rather than chaos. Money, like any other manifestation, flows toward order, not disorder. Most people block money without even realizing it. It is not because they are incapable or undeserving. The blocks are subtle and hidden within everyday emotions and habitual thought patterns. Stress, fear, urgency, and obsession quietly fragment awareness. You wake up thinking about bills, rush through your tasks, worry about what is lacking, and push yourself to do more without pause. Every fragmented thought, every burst of anxiety creates interference in the signal you send. Money avoids instability. It does not judge. It simply responds to the quality of the field you generate. Urgency is particularly deceptive. When you feel desperate for money, your mind tightens. You focus on scarcity instead of abundance. Your attention becomes fragmented between hope and fear, anticipation and doubt. In this state, even opportunities that appear may be overlooked because the mind is too busy oscillating between extremes. Fear keeps the signal weak, and obsession keeps it entangled. The result is that the field cannot respond coherently, and manifestation slows or fails entirely. Awareness, as Grinberg explained, is the key. It must remain intact, whole, and capable of perceiving without interference. Stillness is the remedy for this. It is the foundation of financial manifestation. When the mind slows down, when inner turbulence is suspended, perception sharpens. Stillness does not mean passivity. It does not mean you stop thinking or acting. It means that thought, attention, and awareness are unified. The noise fades, and the mind becomes a clear channel through which the field can communicate and organize. In this state, subtle opportunities that were invisible in chaos become apparent. The field responds more clearly because there is no interference. Stillness is also about timing. When the mind is quiet, you do not force the arrival of resources. Instead, you create the perfect conditions for them to emerge naturally. Actions taken from stillness are guided by clarity rather than panic. Decisions become easier, ideas come unblocked, and connections align in ways that feel almost effortless. The field reorganizes to reflect your inner coherence, and abundance finds its way to you. Even small moments of stillness can have a powerful effect. Pausing for a few minutes to center attention, to focus on the present without judgment, allows the brain's frequency to stabilize. The scattered thoughts dissolve into a unified signal. Every breath, every moment of calm, strengthens the inner coherence that money and opportunity respond to. Over time, these moments accumulate, and the field begins to reorganize consistently around abundance. Many people underestimate the power of this approach because it does not look like action. They believe that the harder they push, the faster results will come. Grinberg's research challenges this notion. Effort without coherence produces more noise, which blocks the very results you seek. True power lies in the subtle mastery of attention, the quiet organization of awareness, and the cultivation of stillness. Money and resources respond to a signal that is steady, clear, and balanced, not frantic or scattered. Stillness also reveals patterns that are hidden when the mind is in constant motion. You begin to notice opportunities that were always present but unnoticed. Ideas for new income streams, helpful contacts, or solutions to problems appear naturally. The field becomes a mirror of your inner state. When attention is scattered, it mirrors chaos. When attention is unified, it mirrors clarity and abundance. This is why maintaining brain frequency is not optional. It is essential for effective manifestation. It is also important to recognize that stillness is not just a passive waiting game. It is an active alignment with the field of reality. While the mind is quiet, your awareness remains alert. You are observing, sensing, and perceiving without interference. This alert stillness allows the brain's frequency to act as a tuning instrument, harmonizing with the informational field that organizes reality. In this way, every intention, including the intention to manifest money, carries a coherent signal that the universe can respond to with precision. The subtle difference between scattered attention and unified attention is enormous. Scattered attention fragments potential, produces delay, and invites interference. Unified attention amplifies potential, accelerates manifestation, and aligns circumstances naturally. Money is not attracted by frantic desire, but by the clean, coherent signal generated by a still, focused mind. Awareness, stillness, and the quality of attention are not abstract concepts. They are practical tools for shaping reality. When you combine these principles, understanding brain frequency, recognizing the hidden blocks caused by stress and fear, and cultivating stillness, you create the conditions for manifestation to occur with remarkable ease. Resources, opportunities, and financial abundance respond directly to the coherence of your inner state. The mind becomes a magnet, not because it demands or chases, but because it radiates a signal that resonates with order. This is the essence of Jacobo Grinberg's insight, that reality is not outside of you, waiting to be controlled. It is a dynamic field that responds to the quality of your consciousness. By mastering brain frequency, clearing the hidden blocks, and practicing stillness, you allow money to flow naturally, effortlessly, and sometimes even faster than you imagined. Every moment of unified awareness strengthens the field around you, turning the invisible mechanisms of consciousness into practical tools for manifestation. Time has a curious effect on awareness. Most people think that giving themselves more time increases their chances of success, of manifestation, of bringing money into their lives. But Jacobo Grinberg observed something very different. Long timelines, even when well-intentioned, keep the mind in a state of waiting. The longer you postpone your expectation, the more your attention fragments. Days stretch into weeks, weeks stretch into months, and awareness becomes entangled in anticipation, doubt, and distraction. In this state, the field of reality cannot respond clearly because your signal is diluted. Grinberg emphasized immediacy for a reason. Short time frames force the mind into presence. When you set a window of 24 hours to manifest something, the attention cannot wander. Urgency, in this sense, is not desperation, but focus. It sharpens awareness, centers intention, and creates a coherent frequency that the field can respond to immediately. Presence is where the field reorganizes fastest, not because the universe favors urgency, but because a clear, coherent signal reaches it without interference. Within this condensed period, the mind and the field align almost effortlessly. Opportunities, ideas, and solutions that would have been invisible under prolonged timelines suddenly appear. Short timeframes also bypass the natural tendency of the mind to overthink. When you give yourself months or years, the mind invents scenarios, obstacles, and doubts. It fragments attention with endless what-ifs. But with a 24-hour window, the brain has no choice but to unify attention. Every thought, every intention, every perception becomes a precise, concentrated signal. Grinberg's insight shows that the field is highly responsive to this concentrated awareness, far more than to scattered or prolonged effort. This immediacy also teaches a subtle but powerful lesson about how manifestation works. It is not about forcing outcomes. It is about activating presence. Presence is a magnetic state. It organizes the field naturally and accelerates alignment. And within this focused window, the signal you send is pure, undiluted, and highly attractive to abundance. Money, like every other resource, moves toward clarity, not distraction. But presence alone is not enough if the intention is still wrapped in lack. This is where the difference between wanting money and hosting money becomes essential. Wanting implies deficiency. It signals to the universe that something is missing, that you are incomplete, and that you are chasing an external solution. Wanting is a fragmented state. It generates noise, stress, and subtle desperation, which the field cannot respond to efficiently. Hosting money, on the other hand, shifts the signal entirely. Hosting implies readiness. It communicates a state of inner completeness. You do not chase, you invite. You do not demand, you allow. Hosting is an environment, a frequency, a way of being. Money flows naturally toward environments that feel full, stable, and complete, not toward those that signal panic, lack, or anxiety. Grinberg observed the field always seeks efficiency. It organizes reality around the clearest and most coherent signals. When your attention is unified and your intention is hosting rather than wanting, you create a magnetic field that draws abundance effortlessly. The transition from wanting to hosting is subtle but transformative. It is a mental shift, yes, but even more, it is an emotional and energetic shift. Wanting comes with tension, pressure, and resistance. Hosting comes with calm, readiness, and alignment. The moment you host, you no longer chase, you radiate. The field responds not because it is compelled, but because it recognizes the coherence and order of your awareness. In this way, hosting money aligns perfectly with the immediacy principle. A focused, present mind that is ready to receive creates the purest and fastest signal for manifestation. This clarity of signal is amplified further. When emotional neutrality is maintained, brain frequency, as Grinberg explained, is stabilized not through excitement or force, but through calm confidence. Emotional extremes, whether hope-driven excitement or fear-driven doubt, fragment the signal and introduce turbulence into the field. Neutrality, however, stabilizes frequency. It is a clean channel through which attention and intention can communicate directly with the field of reality. Calm confidence does not mean passivity. It means clarity. It means observing without obsession, acting without desperation, and allowing the field to respond naturally. Neutrality harmonizes the inner state, aligning perception, thought, and emotion into a coherent signal that resonates powerfully with abundance. In this state, reality reshapes with minimal resistance. The field reorganizes effortlessly because there is no interference from internal chaos. Emotional neutrality also enables subtle discernment. When the mind is calm, you notice opportunities, connections, and synchronicities that are invisible to the anxious or overexcited mind. You can act decisively, intuitively, and harmoniously. The signal you send is precise, clear, and attractive to the resources you seek. The combination of short time frames, hosting energy, and emotional neutrality creates a synergy that accelerates manifestation far beyond traditional methods of chasing, forcing, or over-planning. By maintaining presence, hosting energy, and neutrality, the mind enters a state where attention is fully unified. The brain's frequency becomes coherent, and the field of reality responds quickly and efficiently. Within the 24-hour window, clarity replaces chaos, readiness replaces want, and calm confidence replaces doubt. In this harmonized state, money and resources are no longer elusive. They flow toward the signal you radiate. Grinberg's observations reveal that manifestation is less about effort and more about inner alignment. Short time frames, focus awareness, hosting energy prepares the field to respond. Emotional neutrality ensures the signal is pure and unfragmented. Together, these principles allow reality to reorganize around coherence, making the process of attracting money faster, more precise, and more effortless than most people imagine. Every moment of present, focused attention strengthens this alignment. Every conscious shift from wanting to hosting amplifies the signal. Every act of emotional neutrality cleans the channel. The field does not distinguish between desire and readiness. It responds to the clarity, coherence, and order of the mind. Money is drawn not to effort, nor to obsession, but to the refined frequency of unified awareness operating within the present moment. When it comes to money, perception matters far more than most people realize. Jacobo Grinberg emphasized that observing money differently changes its behavior in subtle but profound ways. Most people are trapped in the act of chasing, constantly calculating, worrying, and strategizing to pull money toward themselves. This chasing fractures attention and creates a scattered signal. The more they pursue, the more they fragment the very field they are trying to influence. But when you shift your observation, when you stop the relentless chase, your perception widens. You begin to see paths, opportunities, and connections that were always present but previously unnoticed. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. The observer shapes the reality they perceive. The observer effect, in this context, is not metaphorical. Every glance, thought, and expectation carries a signal into the field. When you obsess, the signal is noisy and inconsistent. When you observe without attachment, the signal is coherent and organized. In this state, your awareness functions like a tuning instrument. The field, sensitive to coherence, responds with efficiency, offering solutions that are aligned with the cleanest possible signal. Suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes visible. A contact you never expected reaches out. A financial opportunity arises in a place you hadn't considered. The field responds to the quality of observation, not to frantic desire or effort. Manifestation often comes indirectly. This is one of the most counterintuitive insights of Grinberg's work. Many people assume that money will appear exactly in the way they imagine, through a direct source like a salary increase, a sale, or a sudden windfall. The reality is far more subtle and efficient. The field does not adhere to your preferred storyline. It organizes resources in the most effective manner it can, which often appears as an unexpected idea, a new connection, a refund, a timing shift, or an opportunity you never considered. Learning to release rigid expectations allows you to remain open to these indirect pathways. The mind that is fixated on one route creates tension and blocks alignment. The mind that observes without attachment, however, notices every route the field presents. This indirect nature of manifestation requires patience and trust. It also requires awareness of subtle signals that indicate progress, even if they are not immediately obvious. A small insight, an unexpected message, a sudden thought, or even a fleeting opportunity can be the beginning of a chain that leads to abundance. Grinberg emphasized that these indirect manifestations are not random. They are precise, efficient responses from the field to a coherent signal. The key is not to force the process, but to maintain awareness and recognize the signals when they appear. Many people unintentionally cancel the process of manifestation through common mistakes. The first is constant checking. When you check obsessively your bank account, your investments, your opportunities, you fragment attention. Each check introduces doubt and impatience into the field, weakening the signal and delaying results. The second is doubting small movements. When minor signs of progress appear, skepticism can undo alignment. Even a slight hesitation sends mixed messages, disrupting the coherence of your awareness. Another mistake is forcing action from anxiety. Action born of tension, worry, or fear produces noise in the field. It signals desperation rather than readiness, scattering attention and creating instability. Similarly, talking about lack, even casually, communicates deficiency to the field. Statements like "I don't have enough" or "I need more money" reinforce fragmentation and instability. Awareness, as Grinberg observed, must remain coherent to produce results. These subtle mistakes may seem insignificant, but they reset the signal repeatedly, preventing manifestation despite the best intentions. Understanding these pitfalls leads naturally to the principle of locking the result through awareness. Once coherence is achieved, it must be maintained. This is not about effort, control, or force. It is about observation. When your attention remains unified, calm, and focused, the field continues to reorganize itself in response to your inner signal. You do not have to chase, push, or manipulate outcomes. The field completes the work once a coherent signal is sustained. Maintaining awareness involves subtle practices. It requires pausing before reacting to external events, noticing thoughts without becoming attached, and observing feelings without letting them fragment your focus. Each act of observation reinforces coherence. Each moment of calm, present awareness strengthens the signal the field responds to. In this way, abundance and financial resources flow naturally, effortlessly, and in alignment with the internal state of the observer. Grinberg's research also highlights the importance of trusting the process. Manifestation is not instantaneous in the way most expect. Even within focused short timeframes, it unfolds according to the efficiency of the field and the clarity of the signal. By observing without interference, staying detached from rigid expectations, and maintaining emotional neutrality, you allow the field to complete its work. The observer becomes a catalyst rather than a controller, shaping reality through attention rather than through effort or obsession. Even small disruptions of attention can have disproportionate effects. Thoughts of worry, fleeting desires, or subtle doubts introduce noise into the system. Every distraction dilutes the signal. Awareness, therefore, is not a static state. It is an active practice. Constant, gentle attention to the quality of your mind, the coherence of your intention, and the neutrality of your emotion ensures that the field remains aligned with your signal. The process becomes self-reinforcing. The more coherent your awareness, the clearer the response of the field, and the more effortless the manifestation. Indirect manifestations often appear in ways that test perception. A sudden idea for a new income source, a chance meeting, or an unexpected reimbursement might seem unrelated to the original intention. Yet each of these occurrences is a precise response from the field to your coherent awareness. Recognizing these signs requires patience, openness, and the discipline to avoid forcing connections. Observation is key. Notice without judgment, acknowledge without attachment, and allow the field to orchestrate the outcome in the most efficient manner possible. Grinberg's insights into the observer effect, indirect manifestation, and the importance of maintaining awareness create a comprehensive framework for attracting abundance. By shifting observation, releasing attachment, and avoiding common mistakes, you cultivate the conditions for money to flow naturally. Coherence becomes the invisible magnet, observation becomes the conduit, and the field, responding with precision, delivers opportunities in alignment with the clarity of your signal. The process is elegant in its simplicity, yet profound in its effect. The observer shapes reality through attention. Manifestation occurs indirectly, but efficiently, when awareness is coherent. Common errors, such as doubt, anxiety-driven action, constant checking, and verbalizing lack are avoided through mindful observation. Once coherence is achieved, maintaining attention allows the field to complete its work. This is not effortful manifestation, it is aligned, efficient, and naturally responsive. By understanding and applying these principles, the mind becomes a powerful instrument for shaping financial reality. The field no longer encounters fragmented signals, but responds to unified, coherent attention. Money, resources, and opportunity arrive through pathways that are indirect, unexpected, but perfectly aligned. Awareness is the lock, observation is the key. Through this refined practice, abundance moves toward you effortlessly, reflecting the clarity, focus, and coherence of your inner state. Money moves in ways most people never fully understand. Jacobo Grinberg showed us that it is not effort, struggle, or constant chasing that attracts abundance. Money responds to the quality of your awareness. It responds to coherence, clarity, and the inner order you cultivate. When your mind is scattered, fragmented by fear, stress, or urgency, the field cannot respond clearly. But when awareness becomes whole, calm, and still, reality itself begins to reorganize. Opportunities appear. Paths you never noticed become visible. Resources flow naturally to the environments that are ready to receive them. This is the essence of manifestation, according to Grinberg. It is not about forcing, pushing, or controlling. It is about aligning, observing, and allowing. When you practice presence, maintain emotional neutrality, and host abundance rather than chase it. You create the perfect conditions for money to arrive, sometimes quickly, sometimes indirectly, but always efficiently. The field responds to the signal you radiate, and when that signal is unified, the flow becomes effortless. You can start applying this today. Pause. Observe your thoughts. Center your awareness. Release the need to force outcomes. Focus on hosting abundance and maintaining calm coherence. Allow the field to respond naturally. Notice opportunities with clarity and let your awareness do the work. If you found these insights valuable, like this video to support the channel and subscribe to Awaken Synchronicity for more teachings on consciousness, awareness, and the hidden principles that shape reality. Your journey toward effortless abundance begins with awareness, and every step you take in stillness brings the field into alignment with your desires.